turns out that we live in the same building on the same floor.
What are the odds?
What are the odds?
Incredible.
Yes, it's insane.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, okay, wow.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Have you ever thought of living abroad? All right, imagine this. You log onto your computer and you find a flight ticket to that destination you have in mind. The flight ticket is in 14 days from now, departure in 2 weeks, okay? You don't have a job, you don't have a place to live, you don't know anybody there, you don't speak the language, but in 14 days from now, you make it happen, okay? You get that job, you find that apartment, you create that life in just 14 days. Hey friends, and welcome to the second episode of my new podcast, 2 years from now. The story I just told you is not something I just made up. Today's guest, Karina, who you're about to meet, she actually did this. Very, very inspiring story, I have to say. So if you are dreaming of moving abroad, if you're dreaming of traveling, or you're hunting a promotion, or you want to build a business, then I think this conversation might inspire you. We talk quite a lot about spirituality, so if you vibe with that, I'm sure you'll like it. If you don't, I would maybe not rationalize it too much. Maybe you'll get inspired. We talk about work-life balance in Spain, and we also talk about how you can meet more like-minded people when you're new to a place. And one more thing, if you like what you see, I would highly appreciate a like and a subscribe. That will help me, that will help us reaching even more dreamers out there, and we're just getting started. We have super interesting things to come, so let's go. I hope you enjoy this because I had a lot of fun making it.
Welcome to my second episode of this new podcast, video podcast concept. It's called 2 years from now, and today I am so happy to have you, Karina, to be a part of it, because you're gonna tell your story today. I have like a random fact that I would like to share with you. When I imagined this podcast, I thought of having you as a guest as one of the first persons. I think it was like we met on the Camino, and I think a lot of our conversations from the Camino was like in my mind. I was like, I just knew that you would be maybe one of the 2-3 first people. What do you think about that?
I love the concept, and the name of the podcast, it's amazing, very inspiring, and thank you.
Good. We are sitting here on my rooftop in Barrio Las Letras in Madrid, and we're gonna talk a bit about your story today. You're also living here in Madrid, close to this place, or what would you say?
I actually live far.
Yeah?
It took me 1 hour to come.
1 hour. It's a big
Yes.
city.
This is the city center. I live far from the city center.
Yes.
Yeah, big city, but I love it.
Why are you living in Madrid?
Because I fell in love with Madrid. I came the first time for vacation.
Mm-hmm.
My best friend gave me tickets to Madrid for my birthday, and I came here and I was like, wow, I have to live here.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time I was living in the Netherlands, so I came here. It was amazing. We had a great time. And then I came back to the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm telling you I fell in love, I really fell in love. I was feeling in love. I went back to The Hague where I was living.
Mm-hmm.
And I was dreaming of Madrid. I was thinking of Madrid the whole time. And I was like, no, this is a sign. I have to move there. So I took my stuff and I came here.
That's so interesting. So you're from Bulgaria?
I'm from Bulgaria.
Where?
From Sofia.
Sofia. What's that like? Is that a big city or a small city?
It's the capital, so it's the biggest city in Bulgaria, and it's about 2 million. So it's big for European city. It's a normal European capital, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Madrid is bigger. The Hague, where I was living and studying before, is smaller. So it's a good size, but Madrid is definitely bigger and feels bigger.
Good. Why did you live in Netherlands before?
I moved there for studies.
Yeah.
So I graduated from high school and I directly went to the Netherlands. Because I always knew I want to live abroad, and studying abroad is the easiest way to move.
Yes.
So I was researching some options where to move, and I knew English, so I was looking at studying in the UK, in the Netherlands, also in Denmark, because they have courses in...
You looked up Denmark as well?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, because the education is free
It's
there.
free. And you get paid?
Yes, and you have it in English
Yes.
as well. But in Denmark, I didn't find the study that I wanted, and I found it in the Netherlands, where also the education is not expensive. So it was perfect for me.
Nice.
And I moved.
Was it was it in your time in Netherlands that you decided to move to Madrid?
Yes.
Yes.
So it was my last semester. I was just starting my last semester of university, and I came to visit Madrid. And it was the perfect timing because I was writing my thesis, and I asked my university, hey, I didn't have the opportunity to go study abroad for Erasmus because it was during COVID. Can I do my thesis abroad? And they told me, well, if you ask other people and you want to form a class online, yes, you can do it. So I texted everyone from Union. We formed a class that was online and with people who wanted to write their thesis abroad.
Amazing you have that opportunity. You were talking a bit about before we started recording the moments when you found out that you wanted to live in Spain and you wanted to live in Madrid particularly, and we talked about like the beautiful architecture, the vibes here, and then you came back to the Netherlands and you found out it's Madrid.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's true, because I came to Madrid. I went from the airport, I took a bus, and I arrived in the center of Madrid, next to a beautiful castle, a big road. I had this sense of freedom. You could see this whole sky and everything. And in the Netherlands, it's not like that. In the Netherlands, the buildings are tiny, the streets are tiny, everything is little, you can't see the sky. And here, you have the landscape everywhere. You have this rooftop terrace, there are a lot of rooftops. You can breathe here. You feel good. And you don't feel small. In the Netherlands, it makes you feel smaller in a way. Yeah.
Do you think that you would have considered Madrid if you didn't live in Netherlands before?
No. For me, Spain in general was always a vacation country. I have been on vacations in Spain. I was in Barcelona, in Mallorca, in the south, and I never considered Madrid. I knew it's the capital of Spain, but that's it. No one talks about Madrid. And I came here as a surprise, right? And I was like, wow, why no one told me Madrid is so amazing? It was, I think everyone has that when they come to Madrid. They're like, wow.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I remember not the first time, but I think the second time I was in Madrid. I was here while I was writing my thesis. I went here for a weekend because I would write from here and discover the city. Why not? And then, like, I went to a restaurant the first night, and I was alone, so I went out eating alone, and that was a bit uncomfortable for me. But however, then like the people sitting next to me, they begin looking a lot at me, and I became super insecure. Like, why are you looking at me? And then after a while, there was a girl from the table standing up, going towards me, and be like, "Hey, we just wanted to ask if you wanted to join us, if you wanted to go out with us." That moment, and then we went to a club, and we went to a bar, to a club, and had a lot of fun. And I used my very, very limited Spanish. And after that experience, I knew that I wanted to live in Madrid at some point in my life. I just think it's so beautiful when you have those like moments of clarification, or like when you get intrigued to something or curious. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. People here are very easily approachable. You can talk with someone on the street and go for a coffee.
Yeah, exactly. And that was also it for me. Like I knew that this would just never happen in Denmark. That people sitting next to us would go towards me and be like, "Hey, let's go out together." So I like this open-minded culture.
It is. But this maybe also because it's very international here, and internationals are always looking for other people who are in the same situation as them. So they approach more, and they are easy to approach. Because when you're in your own country, it wouldn't happen because you already have your friends. You already have someone to go out with. Why would you look for someone else? At least I think that's the mindset of the people.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Spanish people would approach other Spanish people. I'm not sure if it happens, but the people who
That's
approached you,
interesting.
were they Spanish or international?
They were Spanish.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So maybe.
So I was like, I need to live in Spain.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. I know what you mean, and I also think that as foreigners, as Giris, shout out Tom, we have a lot in common, and we easily bond, and we like all in the same case of having like our family and friends back home,
Yes.
starting over. So when you came here and you felt like this big city vibe, which I mean Madrid is a big city, it inspired you.
Yes, it is very inspiring. I feel like there is no limit. You can do whatever, and Madrid being a very big city, it's very diverse in a way. Like there's something for everyone. I think everyone can find their tribe. It's very like even from one neighborhood to another neighborhood in Madrid, it's very different. Different kinds of people go to different neighborhoods. For example, we have La Latina, which is very fun, very colorful, very easygoing. And then you have Salamanca, where it's more put together, more classy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are many different vibes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lot of variety.
Yeah, I think in Madrid everyone can find their group of people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Elaborate. Why do you think that?
Because there's a little bit of everything. It's not that big, because I think in huge cities like tens of millions of people, it's a bit harder. I don't know. I never lived in such a huge city, but Madrid is perfect in size, I think. And there's a lot to offer. There's a lot of things going on all the time.
So, do you think if you're a person and you don't, if you don't feel like you belong where you currently are, do you think there's a great chance they would feel like they belong here because there's so many different kind of communities?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I had that. I had that here even a year after I moved. I had that sense of, okay, I don't belong anymore. And I was like, okay, let me find like-minded people. And I did.
Nice. I noticed before that, like when I invited you, I thought of this as like from Bulgaria to Spain, and then I noticed that you also compared a lot to Netherlands. What do you feel like? Why do you compare to Netherlands? And it sounds like you also feel a sense of belonging in Netherlands.
It's because I moved when I was 18.
Uh-huh.
So, and I started living alone, and my whole adult life, let's say, has been in the Netherlands and here now, 2 years. So when I compared, it's difficult to compare to Bulgaria because Bulgaria is my home. I love it, and I connected more with my childhood, with my family, with my school, with my friends that I have since childhood. And when I talk, I don't like to compare Bulgaria to anything else because it's my home. and I haven't lived there as an adult. So I'm not completely sure how things go there with work and socializing after that. Probably it's the same, but I compare it with the Netherlands because that's where I started being independent.
Okay. Interesting. So the first time you came here, you fell in love with Madrid, or was it the first time you were
It
here?
was love at first sight.
Yeah, love at first sight. And you knew
Yes.
this is it.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I really knew it.
Yes. And then you come here, actually, and you have a bit of a difficult time in the beginning.
In the beginning, the first week when I came,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a bit lonely. I was only talking with my mom on the phone, but 1 week was okay because I was exploring the city, walking around, but still not talking to anyone. It's a bit hard for a week. So I was like, okay, I have to do something about it because I moved here to do my thesis. And I didn't have a university, I didn't have a job, I didn't have any place where I have people right away to meet. So I have to go a little bit out of my comfort zone. I was thinking what to do. Should I go to the bar alone and try to talk with someone? I don't know. But then I found some WhatsApp groups with international people. I joined one, I remember it was called Culture of Things in Madrid. So it's just people who want to go to the museums and things like that. So I joined this group. I met a group of people, just strangers. They were also strangers in between. And then I joined another group. From there I met some other people. Then we combined and we created a very nice friends group. And yeah, we started expanding.
Did you go to a bar alone?
No.
No. Okay.
No, never.
Okay. If you could talk to yourself back then, would you encourage yourself to go to a bar alone?
I had this debate. I remember this moment so good. It was that day when I decided, okay, it's time to socialize. And I had this opportunity to meet with strangers from this WhatsApp group. I didn't know who they are, what they're doing, anything about them. And then the other option was to go to a bar alone. So I was doubting, I was really debating, and I chose to meet with the people.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, when you came to Madrid and first you were studying here for a while
Yes.
through Erasmus?
No, just doing my thesis. I was still in my university in the Netherlands, and it was online. I was having lectures maybe once a week, but it was more just writing. I was writing my thesis for a company here, but it was just solving a problem. I wasn't working for the company.
Okay. So, how did you find a job? How did you go from a student to finding a job?
That was a very hard transition.
Yeah?
Probably you had it too, and maybe other people have it, but honestly, it's hard to go from a student to not being a student anymore because you don't know what to do. We have been given a pattern, a path our whole life. Like we were going to school, we have the schedule, we have the program. People tell us what to do, what to study, how to do it. Someone is navigating us the whole time, and in university is the same. And then you finish university and you're like, now what? So you have to figure out what kind of job do you want? Do you want to start something yourself? Do you want to find a corporate job? Do you want to find a job in a smaller company? What field do you want to work in? And I studied business, which is very broad. So I didn't know exactly what I want to do as well. And after I graduated, it was summer. The summer in Spain was great. And then it was time to find a job. And firstly, I found a job here in English, which was hard. To find a job in Spain in English, it's a bit tough. But I did. And it lasted a month.
Why is that difficult to find a job? Is that because people here speak Spanish? Or what are you referring to?
I think the Spanish is it's a barrier. You have less opportunities. There are opportunities right now in Spain in English, I think. But also you're just graduated,
Right.
and they ask for 5 years of experience.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. What?
it's hard.
Yeah. You had one job for 1 month.
Yes, I had this job for 1 month, and it wasn't for me at all. I couldn't do it, and no, I could do it, but it
What did you
wasn't
do?
a match. It was sales.
Sales.
Yeah, and I didn't like it. I didn't also like the environment. It's very important who do you work with. I had a friend there at work, which was nice. But in general, it wasn't my type of job. It was this huge office with, I don't know, 100 desks, and you have these borders on the desk, so you're in your tiny desk. I felt so bad. You know, it's a very bad place to put you after university, because you graduated, you have these big dreams of changing the world, and then they put you in a desk, and you're and they're like, call.
Oh.
And you call people on the phone, and you're like, you know.
What did you sell?
Education.
Education.
Yes.
What kind of education?
It was courses from MIT.
Okay.
So it was a cool thing to sell, you know?
It was one of those jobs that sounded pretty cool, but
No, honestly, I just took the job that
Okay.
they accepted me. But then it didn't last long. And then it was hard. That's when the hard part started. Because I was confused. I was like, okay, I know that I don't want to work this kind of job, but what do I want to do? And I went back to Bulgaria. Because at that time I really needed to be close to...
after that 1
my
month of working, you went back to
Yes.
Bulgaria.
So it was... I found the job in September, it ended in October, and then I stayed November, and then December for Christmas I went back home. Because I needed the support of the family, I needed to feel good, because I was lost. I really had no idea what to do with my life. So I went home and I started applying for jobs, and from the moment I went back home, I wanted to come back to Madrid. I was waking up every day with the thought of, I want to be back to Madrid, I want to be back to Madrid. So I was applying every day for jobs. And it was hard, a lot of rejections, but...
So that difficult period, that difficult transition from studying to working didn't kill your love for Madrid?
No.
Okay.
Love stays always. Love is the strongest thing in the world. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's strange love for a city, but it kept me going. It was like a fuel, because I knew I wanted to be back here. So I was looking for a job here. There were times, of course, when I was disappointed, because it's hard. As I said, it's hard to find a job in Madrid if you don't speak Spanish. It makes it even harder. It's hard to find a job anywhere. But I was always keeping a positive mindset and reminding myself that everyone finds a job. It's okay. I'm going to find a job as well. But sometimes when you receive so many rejections, because you have been also through a process of applying to jobs, I suppose.
Absolutely.
And you know, it's rejection after rejection, interviews, hopes, then, we found a better candidate. And you can feel, am I not good enough? I started doubting myself, and I was like, okay, was my education not that good that they're not taking me? Am I not that good? I started doubting myself, because it's a lot of no's. But I always try to remind myself, you're good enough, you can do it, you're gonna get the best job for you. That's not for you, you're gonna get something better. And it's true. You always get what's for you. And my job was exactly for me, and
How did you get it?
on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And what happened is that I was in Bulgaria, so I went in December, end of December, and already in the beginning of March, I was like, no, it's time. I have to go. I was having some interviews, I was through this application process, and I remember this day so good. I was sitting with one of my friends, and she was studying, and I was applying for jobs. And I was like, okay, enough is enough. I'm buying a ticket to Madrid. And I didn't have a job, I didn't have anything, but I was like, I'm going. So I bought the ticket, And it was for 16th of March, so in 2 weeks. And I wrote in my calendar 20th of March, which was Monday, first day of work. I just wrote first day of work. And I was like, I know that on 20th of March, I'm going to have a job. And at that time, I didn't have anything sure, but I was sure that there will be a job for me. I was even thinking, okay, if nothing works out from the jobs I'm applying to, the ones that are connected to my studies, I'm just gonna go to coffee places. For sure they would want a barista or someone to do something in the back. And it would improve my Spanish, so I was open for everything. I just wanted to be here. Did you have something similar?
Yeah. I also went through the barista layover in my dreams. Yeah, so I had also difficulties finding my way, and I remember I was talking with my best friend, and we were brainstorming on my behalf. What do I do? And I was seriously considering I could be a barista, and at this point I just graduated with a master's degree in marketing from Copenhagen Business School. But I was like, if it takes a couple of months in Starbucks to get the Spanish dream to become a reality, then let's do that. And as you said, I will probably learn more Spanish handling coffee over in Starbucks than in my current job, where I work in sales in Danish. Yeah. So, but I think it's so interesting how you put in the date in the calendar, and then you just kind of decide to make it happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it happened.
Yeah. What did that teach you? What did that period teach you?
That anything you want and you approach with this mindset that it will happen, it will happen.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay. It sounds also a bit spiritual.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe in these things.
So you mentioned before that one thing is like visualizing coming here and then actually getting that dream to come true, become a reality. And then ever since you moved to Spain and moved to Madrid, you also feel like you've been on this path. It's just been the right path for you.
Oh, 100%. I'm meant to be here. Maybe there's a bigger reason that I'm about to find out, but I feel so aligned. I never felt like that in my life because things are happening so smoothly for me here. For example, I came here randomly, as I said, like out of nowhere, and then I had this feeling that I have to be here. It was like a calling. I don't know how to say it. It sounds strange, but I told you I was dreaming of Madrid. I had this, it was pulling me. So I came. And after this period that I was in Bulgaria, I came back. I got the job on the exact date that I put in my calendar, without anything being sure.
Yeah.
And then I moved here. My whole team is international, and listen to that. My whole team is abroad. It's remote. And I knew that my manager lives in Madrid. And then it turns out that we live in the same building on the same floor.
What are the odds?
What are the odds?
Incredible.
Yes, it's insane. And I was like, okay, wow. Wow. That's meant I should be in this job.
Yes.
It's for sure for something. And it really, this really helped me to get it because it was an internship. And then they hired me full time. And I think a big part of it is that I was working closely with my manager. And he was explaining to me things in person because it's way easier to understand. It was my first job in the field, so of course I didn't know a lot of things.
And what was the job exactly?
It's marketing.
Marketing?
Yeah.
Agency?
In a tech company.
In a tech company. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Is there an office here or is it remotely?
For me, it's remote. There's not an office in Madrid. There's office in Granada. So sometimes I travel for work to Granada, which is also great.
Nice.
It's amazing. I love my colleagues. The job gives me freedom. Also working in Madrid. Why it's amazing? Because you have the perfect work-life balance.
Okay.
For example, I work sometimes until later because it's an American company and I have to have calls with the people in the US. And
Oh yeah,
even,
tell me about it. Yeah.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
But you know that.
And at that time, I already peaked. My workday has peaked. I'm done cognitively. But then the big boss from the US needs something. Oh, joder.
It's like that. But it's also, I finish work at maybe 8, sometimes 8:30, and I still can do things in the evening.
Yeah, yeah.
This is impossible anywhere else, I think, especially in the northern countries, probably in Denmark.
What do you mean?
If you finish work at 8,
Yeah,
you go home, you have dinner, and you sleep.
Yeah, indeed. I feel like everything in Spain is a bit like, you know, they stop later, they go to bed later, and they meet later. So I don't know if it's like they work less. I just think they have like a different routine, right? But like knowing you, Karina, and also following you on Instagram, I know that you like also to work in coffee spots.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How do you like
I take advantage of working from home.
Yeah.
I cannot be every day at home.
Uh-huh.
So I go to either some co-working spaces or coffee places. I try different things. I have even worked from the park.
Have you tried to work in an office before?
Well, this 1 month in this office. That was my office experience.
Okay. Remotely is better.
Yeah, for me, yes, because I don't know anything else. I go sometimes to the office in Granada, and I love it because socializing with your colleagues is important, and it's very nice when they're cool people, and my colleagues are great, and we have lunch together, and after that we go for drinks or dinner. So it's great. It's a great aspect. But I love remote.
Yeah?
Yeah, even last year I went for 1 month to visit my sister. She lives in Vienna. So I went there for 1 month, and I was working from there. Yeah.
That's so cool. How did you find a place to live in Madrid?
I was always super lucky with my places to live. Even from the first time I moved abroad to the Netherlands, I was just lucky. I didn't even look for places. They were coming to me somehow. I just had luck. But people should be careful and aware that there are scammers in Madrid. I have heard a lot of bad stories, but I was just lucky. Always for example, I found in Madrid, I found a place super quickly with 1 week notice on Facebook. Someone posted, I had a video call. I was like, okay, I like the apartment.
Wow.
And it was a bit shady. I transferred money to some bank account random, you know. I received contract later. And I was like, oof, if this is a scam, it would be bad. But it wasn't. So I was lucky. I moved there. Then I made friends with my upstairs neighbors. After my contract expired, I moved with them at exactly at the same time that my contract expired. A room in their apartment was free. So I moved with them. After that, I went to Bulgaria. When I came back, one of my friends had an apartment and was looking for a flatmate, so I started living with her. I always had this very...
Do you believe luck is a coincidence?
I think luck is a state of mind.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to believe that you're lucky to be lucky.
Okay.
I think. Do you think so too?
Yeah. I definitely think that it's very much related to mindset. That's also what I find like interesting for the people with a dream of living abroad. When you say you've been lucky to find a place, I also think there is a part of it that's about your mindset when you go into it, and you know, you say it yourself. One thing is to be really careful when you're trying to interact with these people that wants you to pay deposit and everything. But another thing is also like the energy you show up with when you're there to see a room. Yeah, absolutely. How about making friends in Madrid, getting to know people? How did you do that? Did you do that?
Yeah, right now I can say that I have close friends in Madrid, a few ones, but getting to really know people deeper, it's harder, to form a connection. Because also in Madrid with international people, for me it happened like that. I came here, I was a student, I met a lot of students who were mainly on Erasmus, and then they left. So, of course, I'm still in contact with some of them, but they don't live here. And after that, transitioning to being a student and the student life, partying, going out, having a messy routine and everything. Then from working where you have to be more organized, like a little bit calmer, and you have to find different people who do the same thing as you, because then if your friends are still studying, for example, your lifestyles don't match that much anymore. And it's not a bad thing, but just you have to find other people who like to do the same things as you. And
why is that important to you?
To find
that you are like having like that you have the same. I hear you say it's important to find people that you are having the same routines, people that you're like-minded with.
Yeah, it's important because, for example, what I really like to do is I like to do sports. I like to do some outdoor activities, and my friends didn't want to join me. For example, I want to go for a run and meet some people. That's how we actually met, in a run club, firstly.
We did.
And my friends didn't want to do that with me, so I joined a running club to meet people who like to do the same thing. Then when I was in Bulgaria, I did my Pilates course to be a Pilates instructor, and I started my Pilates group. So there I meet girls who want to wake up early on Saturday or Sunday morning and go for Pilates and have coffee after that. And those people weren't out last night. Or maybe they were. Sometimes they're hangover. But most of the time, no.
Yeah.
And when you meet them, it's not only the Pilates that connects you.
Yeah.
It's other things as well.
Yes. Yes.
And through this, I met incredible people and very like-minded, also very interesting and different. So, it's great.
And you already mentioned a bit about it. You created your own Pilates group?
Yes.
You hosted?
Yes.
Through your Instagram?
Yes, I made another Instagram because I was too shy to post on my own. And I made another Instagram for Pilates. I posted on some Facebook groups. Hey, I'm gonna do Pilates class in the park if you wanna join. This is the date and this is the time. And I was very afraid. I started it actually last summer, and in my first class there were 3 people that came. And now there are so many people that are coming, and I do it in different locations. I found some rooftops in Madrid where I do it, and then we stay for coffee. On Fridays we do in the evening, and then we go for cocktails. I try to do a lot of different plans, and it's so much fun.
That's so cool.
And we connect through the movement. We also connect with ourselves. We do some sports, we do something good for us, and then we socialize.
Is it the same people coming again and again?
There are a lot of people who are repeating. There are always new people as well. So it's a good balance. I have girls that are regular, and there's always someone new. And they become friends in between them. And I also became very close with some of them. So it's amazing.
Good. That's such a nice. I like that story also because it tells. It's a story about, like, I imagine also there was some. You went through a period of not knowing so many people, and then you also thought to yourself, okay, what is inside my control? What can I do also to meet like-minded people? Okay, I like Pilates. I try to make a Pilates group and see if I can meet people that way. I really like that. And that's also like, I met you on the Camino, hosted by Tom Charlie. Shout out, Tom. Giris de mierda. And I also thought that doing a Camino would also mean that I would probably meet like-minded people, or at least people in Madrid, or at least people in Spain. Yes. And gained good friendships there already. If we talk about Spain and Spanish culture, and we imagine you landed from the moon in Spain, what would be your clues to know that you're in Spain or you're in Madrid particularly?
Well, if you are dropped from the moon and you're in a place that is sunny, colorful, crowded, people are walking slowly, and it's loud, you're probably in Madrid.
Okay. And hot.
Yes, hot.
Yeah.
How would you describe it?
Yeah, very similar. I would also say that the way people are interacting is very like they are they're very interactive and they're talking a lot, and it's like a more extroverted energy that you see on the
Loud.
street. Yeah, very loud.
Oh, and
But lovely.
you're right. You're right about the extroverted energy. Like, this didn't happen when I was in Bulgaria or in the Netherlands, but you see people. For example, you see a couple, they'll be kissing on the street so passionately.
Right.
And sometimes when you're not from here and you don't expect it, you're like, you're in public.
Yeah.
But somehow the energy here opens you up to that, I think, as well.
Yeah. There's like, I feel like there's two sides to it. There's both the side of correct, let me know if you think differently, but there's both the mañana, we will see, we take it as it comes. The future is positive, but on the other hand, I think also people are like all or nothing, like, very dedicated and very passionate.
Depends for what. For
Well,
love they are. For love they are. For work they're not.
You also describe, like, you have this, when you think about people in Spain, you divide it a bit into like locals and foreigners. That's two different kind of experience, to meet locals and meet foreigners.
This is the experience I had. So 2 years living here, now I finally met Spanish people and made friends with Spanish people. So it's very different experience, I think, from being in this international environment, which is closed. My first year here, I barely met any Spanish people or formed a connection with them because I didn't speak Spanish. I had this barrier. Now with my Spanish friends, I speak in English as well, but this is gonna change. I'm on the way. Soon.
When?
I don't know.
We are recording. When, Karina?
In 6 months.
Okay, nice. For the recording, I also wrote down a goal that I'm speaking Spanish in my office at the end of the year.
Amazing.
There's still, I would say professionally and one-to-ones with my boss, they will probably be kept in English because the understanding is poor. But coffee machine talks and ¿cómo estás conversations, I think we're getting there.
Yeah, I have a goal. Maybe I didn't set a date because I'm a bit afraid to set it, but my goal in terms of Spanish is to host a pilates class in Spanish. And I think it's going to be sooner than I think because I have some collaborations that I'm doing with girls who are Spanish and only speak Spanish, so yeah, maybe I have to force myself.
Nice.
But that's the best way to learn.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just talk, read, talk. I also recently found out that I honestly think it's quite boring to learn language, but my motivation and my why for learning it is what's driving me. And I recently began watching celebrity interviews.
Oh.
And I found that really entertaining. Also, like football players interviews, whatever it takes. Like
that's a good one.
Also, if we talk about culture, I felt personally that the more I've traveled and the more I've lived abroad, the better understanding I actually get of where I'm from, and the better understanding I get of Denmark and Copenhagen, and how my native country is different from the rest of the world. Did you have the same experience?
Well, it's difficult to say. From cultural point of view, Bulgarian culture is different from Dutch and from Spanish. I feel closer to Spanish culture, to be honest, but then it comes this separation between Spanish culture with Spanish people and Spanish culture with internationals. There's a difference. I feel like the international community and culture in Spain is very open. It's very... I don't even know how to explain it. Yeah, it's very open-minded, very outgoing, and I think that people here, because Madrid is exceptional city, really, people party a lot, people go out a lot. You don't find this in many other cities. Like, people are out every day of the week. And
You didn't live in Barcelona.
no.
Okay, I can hear that.
Maybe in any other country, let's say. And
Right.
when you come from abroad and you're with all these international people going out all the time, it's like, wow, it's a different life, really. It's different. But when you meet Spanish people and they're from here and they know it, I feel like Spanish people are more... they're family oriented. For example, last week I went to Granada to my office and I went out with one of my colleagues. There was a celebration and her whole family came. And then we went to a little village a little bit outside of Granada and we were with her family, with her grandparents, parents, cousins, uncles, aunts, other friends. Like, we were so many people in this village pub. And oh my god, they were so cute. Firstly, their family was so welcoming. The grandparents, 90 years old, dancing all night long.
Nice.
And they were so in love, and it was so cute, so amazing, so heartwarming. And this, maybe it's also because I miss my family, you know, being away from them, and I like to see these things. But yeah, you don't see that in Madrid. I think you see this in smaller villages and places in Spain, but in Madrid it's hard to find.
So, you miss home?
I do. I miss my family.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
Traveling and seeing them.
Okay.
Well, it's hard but it makes it easy that I'm still in Europe. I can always take a plane and go. They come visit me, I go visit them, we travel somewhere together. We call every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, but I really miss them, so I decided that in August I'm going back home
Okay.
for a month.
Okay.
Because August in Spain is also super hot.
Yeah, I
Are you
also
gonna
need to find a solution. I mean, I have 3 air conditions for my 45 squares, so that's a help. But I think I also I will head towards Denmark, at least for some of it. For other people with the dream of living in Spain, what advice would you offer to them?
Just do it. If you dream about something, do it. Try it out. It will, if it's your dream, if you feel like doing it, whatever it is, if it's moving abroad, if it's doing something else, whatever your dream is, just act on it. Do it.
What does that look like?
I think just literally taking the action. If you want to move abroad, take a plane ticket, go to the airplane, and arrive to Madrid.
Yeah.
And see.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, at least from my experience, sometimes it's better to throw yourself in the situation without overthinking and planning into detail, because once you start thinking about the things deeply, you find also a lot of little problems. Do you think so too?
Yeah, absolutely. I like to, it's a good thing to be considerate, but it's not very good to be overthinking. So that's a balance, absolutely.
Yeah, but do it. Especially if you live in Europe, nothing is stopping you. You don't need anything, actually, except some initial budget, and that's all.
Okay.
If you are not from Europe, there are agencies that help with documents. There are other ways. I'm not sure. It's harder. And it's more of an effort, but it's still possible.
Yeah. Interesting. You also mentioned before that you don't need to figure it all out in advance.
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you take the action, it all unfolds for you. It's like step by step. It's like in the Camino. I remember because we did the Camino de Santiago, right? And there was, at one point, I don't know if you remember it, but there was just a little path in a forest, kind of, and then it opened in front of you a big space.
Yeah.
And it was there, even there was a little bit of sun. I remember it so good.
Uh-huh.
And it's like that with everything in life. Like you walk, you take steps, and at one moment everything opens up in front of you.
Yeah.
There are moments when you're in the forest in this tiny.
Yeah. So what I also hear you say is, get started.
Get started. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Begin searching for jobs. Begin searching for apartments.
Yeah.
Find communities online.
Yes. Start step by step.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And maybe in the end the result would be different from what you expected or what you wanted, but it will be your path.
You mentioned a quote before.
Yes. What was it? Yes, I remember now. So, the quote, the thing that I said to myself when I bought this plane ticket to Madrid.
Yeah. Without having a job, without having figured it all out.
Without having anything.
Yes.
I said to myself, life rewards the brave ones.
Yeah.
And it's true. Once you go out there, you're brave, you dare to act on your dreams, they'll become true. I'm convinced 100%.
Why?
Because it's the energy you put out there.
Okay.
It's the mindset you go with. It's everything. If you go with this scary, like, oh, but I'm gonna be alone. How I'm gonna find a place? Am I gonna know? I'm gonna miss my family. Of course, you're gonna go, you're gonna be alone, and you're gonna miss your family, and you're gonna be sad, if that's what you're thinking. But if you go and you're like, I'm going there, I'm gonna make my dreams come true, I'm gonna find a job, I'm gonna have the best experience, I'm gonna meet so many new people.
If
you are.
If you're feeling like that,
Yeah.
if you're scared, if you're afraid of the uncertainty, what would your advice be?
Push it through. Say
Push it through.
it's not, I'm not scared, I'm brave. I'm gonna do it, because being brave is above being scared, so jump over it and say to yourself, life rewards the brave ones, and do it. And you'll see, magic happens.
I love that. You also mentioned that for you, as the person you are, as the person you would like to become, you also do a lot to jump out of your comfort zone. Why would you go out of things that are comfortable? Don't you like comfort?
I actually start to like comfort more and more after being in a lot of uncomfortable situations. But I think getting out of your comfort zone is needed for growth. It pushes the limits of your mind. It makes you more open-minded. It makes you more acceptable to uncertainty, and to you build a trust in yourself. I think once you go through difficult things, you're like, when you're in another situation that's out of your control, and you're like, okay, but I was there before and I pushed it through and I made it, and something beautiful came out of it. Maybe it was a lesson, maybe it was a mistake, whatever. You rise again, and you build this trust within yourself. I feel like once you go out of your comfort zone, you do the hard thing, you do the scary thing, and you're like, whoa, I can do anything.
Yeah. I like to think of it like, I agree very much with you. The mental modeling I have for myself is like red, yellow, and green. And then green is my comfort zone, that's my autopilot, that's ordering the same pizza as I'm used to do. And then like yellow is like slightly out of comfort zone, and red is like moving to Spain without having a plan. or like, you know, when you bought your flight ticket without having a job. That's very red. Sounds very red to me. And what I really like to think is that when I do something in red, I move it to yellow. And when I do something in yellow, I move it to green. And I find it so meaningful to like expand my comfort zone and then feeling that I'm capable of more. That's also what I hear you say, that the more you do things you're scared of, the more resources you feel like, the more competent you feel like.
Yeah.
The more brave you become.
Wow. I love this association.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's why I start liking my comfort more, because I expanded it with things that I like. And that were hard, but it's also with some little habits that are hard to do, but then they make your life so much better. Yeah, but wow, I love that with the red, yellow, green. I'm gonna use it too.
You can shop a little bit daily. Oh, that's yellow. I'll pick it to green.
I love it. I used to do that last summer. I was setting a little challenge for myself every week. It was something small, like having one conversation in Spanish, which is not that small actually. And you have to learn to, you have to learn to give yourself credit for little things, because that's what builds the trust in yourself. I think also daily goals and checking them. Okay, and then you believe you can do it, and you believe you can do bigger things as well, because it's important. And I love dreaming big.
Where are you in 2 years from now?
I am here in Madrid, for sure. And as I said, I started my little Pilates community, and I love it. And it's turning to something great, and I'm so passionate about it. So I want to expand it in 2 years. I have my own business, and it's in this field, in wellness and fitness field. So I'm going to have my own company, and it's going to be great. And my own community of like-minded people. Yeah, I imagine life great in 2 years, and I'll still be here in Spain, in Madrid.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing your story and all the good advice you have. I really like the part about your energy and the spiritual part of it, and how much of your journey here was also about yourself believing that it could be reality. So, Karina, thank you so much. That was really a pleasure.
Thank you. I love this podcast, and I like the name of it. It's very inspiring, and it makes people tell their dreams. It's manifesting your life in 2 years. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it.